You and quite great. So I have with me Archita Agarwal, who was just fabulous in Dispatch. Can't believe it's your first movie, is it?
Yeah,
Quite an amazing performance. So tell me how
was
you landed the
so
role and working with
I
Manoj Bajpayee. Uh, I mean, it must have been quite daunting, the idea, but I must say you've done extremely well.
happy you like we've been doing our interviews. The questions kind of just change when somebody's watched the film versus
Yeah,
somebody who's not watched the film. So I'm so happy you watched the film. But
yeah.
so Kaveri ma'am, like when I first auditioned, I auditioned in 2020. So this has been a
Oh,
4 year. Yeah, it's like a
wow.
4 year journey. But when I first met Kannu sir and Manoj sir together for the workshop, I was more intimidated by Kannu sir than Manoj sir. I
Oh,
almost felt like Manoj sir's energy was so comforting in a way where I didn't feel like I was this new person. He just makes you comfortable, to sort of be in his presence. But it was Kannu sir who was, pushing me against my limits and against the wall and just asking me to reach my authentic self, which was very difficult for me because I had not seen the mirror yet. So I think the whole process was really difficult because I think he just wanted me to sort of unlearn a lot of things I'd already learned and come. And with Manoj sir, I think he's just such a giving actor and he's like a fly on the wall. He doesn't really get much involved. He lets the director do his job, and that's why I think he's been able to shapeshift in every role of his, because he doesn't try to like sort of take charge of everything on set. He just comes, does his work, and that's what he does. So it was a very nice experience, but I was more intimidated by Kanu sir than Manoj
right.
sir.
You were talking about, being pushed against the wall, literally, and, to find your authentic self. I mean, what was that like? The idea of finding authenticity. What did he mean by that?
I think somewhere deep down, I kept trying to do natural acting instead of just
Right,
being. Like, I think I
right,
was trying to show that I can act well and take charge because this is the first film. So he wanted me to come from a place where I wasn't trying to show and I was just being. And he kept
right,
saying that तुझे दिखाना नहीं है, तुझे बस होना है उस moment में, and that's your job
right.
as an actor to just feel. And I think even though I've done so many acting classes or workshops, but I felt like with Kannu sir, it was more like a therapy I never really wanted. I got enrolled into it without even wanting one, but I mean, thank God for it. So yeah, I mean, like it was more like
And,
seeing the mirror, you know?
right. And when I was watching it, I also felt that it's the journey of so many young women in a new city. I mean, it could be Mumbai, Delhi, whatever. She's a person who wants a home. She wants
Correct,
more than just her work. She wants
correct.
someone to share her life
Yeah.
with. It's something that all young women who go to a new city, or even if they're in the same city, they're aspiring to, the idea of your own home and your own partner. So I wonder how much of that was you as well, coming from another city.
True. Actually, I've been in Bombay since 2011 because I studied at
Okay,
Jai. Uh,
all right.
but
But you're
honestly,
actually
like
from,
I'm from
where are you
Assam.
from? Okay, where in Guwahati
I'm
or
from
Shillong?
Assam.
Okay,
Guwahati,
where?
Guwahati, Guwahati.
Okay, so you grew up there, you studied there.
Yeah, yeah. But I did my from grade 7 to 12, I was in Missouri. So I was in a boarding
Okay,
school.
where?
And
Which one?
then Missouri International.
Okay,
So, I
then.
mean, like what you're saying right now is so right. I mean, I also kind of found Prerna there somewhere because I
Mm,
think like in 2020, I couldn't afford Bombay anymore. I had to go back because of COVID and all of that.
right.
That period was really bad, even financially for my family. So I had to choose to not be in Bombay. And I remember when I first came to meet Kanusa was the first time I was coming back after 9 months, after I'd left my
Oh,
house in Bombay.
right.
So it felt like, oh my God, I felt like I was seeing Bombay for the first time, and I think somewhere I was also trying to manipulate the idea that see Prerna in me. That's what I was trying to tell Kanusa because I was
Right, right, right.
also feeling new to the city. But I think, like, especially because you come here to become an actor, there's this fire, and you're constantly seeing that you probably don't fit in, and you're trying and become the same person over and over again. So, yeah, I think I did find Prerna somewhere there. That's why I think we worked on fear largely for her. Um,
Right.
and I think that was the journey, like to sort of get over that fear. I think it lingered on even after the film, though, for me. And now I'm
Yeah,
breaking
I
out
think
of
it's
it
so,
in a way.
yeah, it's quite intense. Your character is, I mean, she wants so much and she, is looking for so much. And then poof, I don't want to, of course, give away spoilers, but poof, literally she's gone,
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, uh, it's, and she is with such a volatile person. She herself is not exactly very stable also, she's going through her own troubles. There's so much happening, and especially that scene in the
Mm.
car, I think, where you're literally offloading him. Uh,
Yeah.
how did you do that? Because it's so toxic, there's so much
Uh,
coming out of you.
are you talking about that fight sequence where we are
Yeah, where
fighting
you're
with
telling
each other?
him to get off and literally leave him in the middle of, I think, a
You know,
highway.
like a little like side note though, I was supposed to actually be driving the car, and
Oh,
I
you
didn't
were not?
land the
It looked as if
yeah.
you were driving.
No, so this was like on a, I don't really know, it was rigged though, on
Acha,
something. So, but
okay.
initially I was supposed to drive, so they gave me driving lessons. And Kaveri
Oh,
ma'am,
you didn't
like,
know how to drive?
I
Oh,
didn't know
how
how to drive.
nice. Neither do I.
I'm so glad because I always feel really bad that I don't know how to drive. But so they gave me driving lessons for this film just for that one scene. And I remember Manoj sir was like, Isko driving nahi aata. Like, I am not sitting. I'm not sitting with her. At the end, we were like, it was gonna get rigged. And I thought, why have I been learning like how to drive? Because at the end
Right,
it was rigged. So I think that scene, I just couldn't find the pitch. Kanusa wanted it to start at like the highest pitch, and I just couldn't find it. We did multiple takes, and like Kanusa does one shot is also like 30 takes, 40 takes. So he started
what?
off the take, and yeah, so every shot is a 40 take, 30 take minimum. And I'm talking about short. Like if it's just me running into the hospital, that's also 30 times.
God,
And it's
that's
non-negotiable.
really,
Like even Manoj sir was standing and doing it, and he just didn't complain. I mean, I could see he was tired, but didn't complain.
you did something.
So coming back to that point, so they wanted me to start at a like higher pitch, and I just couldn't find her pitch. And I remember that Manoj sir just he suddenly like, almost after 20 minutes, he's just watching us do our job. He doesn't interfere at all. And then he's like, "Ek second, मैं start करता हूँ, and then you can react to it, and that'll be easier
Ah,
for you."
right,
So he started the scene and helped me, and that's how the pitch sort of came because he said something which was irritating to the character in that moment, and that's when I took it to that pitch. I just couldn't crack it in that point, and I think when you do it multiple times, you have no idea which scene has he even picked up.
right,
So,
right.
uh, I mean, almost when I watched the film, I felt like it's a documentary because I have no clue, like, from where was it picked up. So yeah, I mean,
And were you familiar with the case? With
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
everyone in Mumbai at that time, and you said you were there in 2011, so it's around the
Correct.
same time, right?
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
such big news.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, I don't think I researched much into it. It's when in 2020 the film came about where the conversation sort of was there around it. Although I don't think the film completely focuses on
Yeah,
him,
it's not
but
exactly on
yeah,
that, but it's
yeah,
around that idea of the,
correct.
it's such a mix of business, sport, underworld, uh, everything.
Yeah. I'm sorry, this is the I've lost you. Hello?
Yeah. No, so I was saying
Hello?
that it's not
Sorry, I
exactly,
lost you.
yeah, yeah, it's not exactly based on it, but it is around that idea and what's happening to the media at that point. And, that's really when the
Correct.
decline,
Correct.
in a way, of the media begins. So while you were focused on your character, obviously, I'm sure you were also aware of all the many strands that the movie is trying to bring together. So was that a bit daunting for you? Because it is, in a sense, a chronicle of our times as well.
It's it's actually I think now I understand this whole thing where so when we started our workshops, he gave me the script 5 days before the film because he just
Hmm.
didn't want me to sort of feel the pressure of what the how long the character's part is or what her part is. He just wanted me to get into this emotional journey. And when I got the script, ma'am, I got just my parts. So I had no clue what the film is even about. I just knew the larger point in total, but I didn't know really the script. I think I still haven't read the script. I have just watched the film directly. So I was really unaware what Prerna's part would be for the whole film also. It was just like something that I was diving deep into, just surrendering and out of faith. So I didn't know the world that he was trying to create, and in the way that he would create it, I was completely coming from just my character's point of view. So I didn't have an overview of everything that is happening in the film. Now I do, like watching the film, but at that time I didn't.
Yeah.
I think he probably didn't want me so because I don't overthink and overanalyze because that's not a part of Joy's life that I'm even part of, you know. So
So, just to come back a little to working with Manoj Bajpayee, because he is, as we all
what
know,
is,
quite a
yeah,
legend, and
yeah.
in a sense, he's reinvented himself so many times. So, what exactly is it like working with him? As you said, he doesn't take charge. Tell me a little more about what it's like to work.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi. Our
did you
network
get
is
did
really
you
bad,
get
I
what?
think.
Yeah, I know.
No, I
I
just
was
heard
talking
that
about, yeah,
Manoj sir, right? Yeah.
yeah, working with him because you told us a little, but tell us a little more about what it's like.
I think I've sort of connected with the spiritual side of Manoj sir as well, which I never thought that I would see that part of him. I always thought he's going to be this daunting actor and it's going to be very intimidating to be working with him. But like I said, he gives that space, and I've gotten to know him more spiritually. So you've seen the film. So you remember that car plot scene where in the parking lot, they're kind of like getting intimate and doing their thing. So at that time, I remember between
Extremely
cards scene when
intimate.
so
But
between
well
the
done.
cuts. Thank you. I don't even know how to react to that.
No, no, normally, I'm sorry, the intimate scenes in our movies are so badly done, they make you cringe. So I'm so happy that here it just seems so organic, which is very good. So well done. And
Really,
I
I'm
think
so glad.
a lot of it is due to you.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. So I think for the larger part, he just told me this much that, I'll be as comfortable as my co-actor is. And that's when we walked into that scene. And I remember between cuts, Manoj sir and I were actually talking about Paramhansa Yogananda. And he was telling me how, yeah, and and I remember he would come and be like, can you both please get to it now? Like, stop it. I mean, you could hear how our conversations were going from Adi Yogi to Paramahansa Yogananda. So I think talking to Manoj sir is just like, he's like this, you know how, so he shifts from being a child to like this old soul in no time. He's both worlds. And no wonder he's where he is. I think he's just somebody who I think is spiritually so sound, so hardworking, and so talented. So I think what I've realized is that Manoj Vajpayee's discipline beats his talent, you know. I think that's why where he is where he is. He's so disciplined, he's so there, surrenders, and at that age to do like 40 takes, 120 take, I don't think that's an easy thing to do. It takes a toll on you physically. I mean, he has this joke where he says that Kannu mera ek ghutna kha gaya. So he has a joke which he keeps saying. But yeah, I think physically it's very taxing then for a person like him, you know.
Yeah, and
But all in all, lots to learn.
I don't know how that scene was constructed. Was it in an actual car or it
It was an
was?
actual car, and it
Oh,
was such a tiny car. Like if you saw the
yeah.
behind the scenes, you would see mine and Manoj's legs coming out of the car because one of the door were open. Our legs were just longer than the car. So it was a really tiny car we had to fit into. I remember when we got done with the scene, Manoj sir had more scenes to do with other actors as well, you know, like there's one with Ree, there's one with Chana. And he's like, I'm so done. I never want to do intimate scenes with anybody in my own life also. He's like, I'm so done. But yeah, I mean, like, it kind of really brings the character, I think, putting us in this
Yeah.
really tiny car. Um, but yeah, I mean, I was so comfortable, you know, like the whole Kanu sir, Siddharth, Ishani, they were just so nice.
Did you have what is called an intimacy coordinator? You have those on
No,
set now. Did you have one?
no,
No. Okay.
no, we did.
Good. You
But
you
then I
didn't
felt
need
like,
one.
yeah, I think Kanu sir was our intimacy coordinator, sorry, because it's him who's directing it. He knows
Right.
us like, and uh, in our workshop itself, we had done the workshop in such a way, ma'am, where when you see Prerna and Joy in the film, we had already covered the 2 years before that they probably must have met. How did they
Right.
meet the first time in the office? We had improvised even that, you know, every sort of beat in their life. And then we came to this point. So I think we'd also sort of warmed up to each other. And
Right.
there was just so much more comfort. And I think I was in that place where if Kanusa asked me to jump off a building, I'd probably done that. I'd surrendered to that level. So I don't know. I just felt like so much faith, and thank God for that. He's done it so well, you know. Like
Yeah.
I feel quite
Yeah.
protected.
Yeah. What's been the reaction to the movie and to
I
you?
think more, I think a lot of people sort of, I don't know, I think Manoj sir running out in that one moment where he's not
Yeah.
wearing anything has sort
Yes.
of taken over my scene. So like I was thinking in my head that Manoj has protected me there also. But otherwise, but otherwise
Yeah.
I
The
think
focus would have been on you. Yeah. In that
otherwise, you know
sense.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, otherwise, I think most of the people feel that it's very anxiety inducing, and
Yeah.
they were left with a feeling that they were quite disturbed. So, I'm from Assam, so a lot of my friends from Assam had come for IFI, and after the screening, I wanted them to meet Kanu sir. So I literally called them and I was like, come, meet him. And they are like all young directors, and they just couldn't muster the courage or words to even speak at that time. And this is what I was telling Kanu sir, that sometimes, when you're very affected, silence is all the appreciation you're gonna get. If you start clapping or if you start talking, you probably are not hit the same way. So I think a lot of people are very affected by it, or probably they don't even know how to digest it. It's just so much in that time frame. But we've been mostly getting really good reviews. And sometimes it's about people come in expecting something about the scam, but they understand that it's more procedural. So maybe the expectation doesn't meet it for some people, but largely it's been good reception.
So what next for you?
I have no clue. I just want this film to finally come out for
Release.
everybody to
Yeah.
watch. And like at least I can get good auditions. I've been away for good 2 years and I was focusing back in Assam. I did a few regional stuff there.
Oh,
And
you did some movies there?
yeah, I was doing in Assam though, and they
Oh.
haven't released. I think they all are going to be next year. But
Oh.
yeah, so but they're more, I think they're more from like a commercial standpoint, like view if you see. Um, but I would love to do more work here. I just don't know how. I don't even know if how is that going to happen? What is going to happen? I have no clue, ma'am. I hope like someday I can come with another work and we can speak again. I don't even know how that's going to happen. So yeah, I don't know.
So you've decided to live and work back in Guwahati, or will you now shift to Mumbai again?
I'll shift back. It's just that I couldn't afford Bombay at that time, and there were no auditions, there was no work. So I just felt like it would be better to be back home. And work was happening there, so I just kept taking it up because at least something you're doing. But now I want to come back because it finally feels like okay, something could happen. I feel like I get a little hope from it. So yeah, now I would want to move back. Even if I
How
have to live in like
expensive?
a tiny place, it's okay.
How expensive is it to live in
In
Mumbai?
Bombay. I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
mean
very expensive. It's
for
very
an actor
expensive.
as well.
Like,
No?
yeah, I think like just earlier when I used to be there, you land up spending a lot per month. Plus, like you try to take care of yourself, so you'll join like certain classes or you'll go to the gym and like okay, I can even let go of that expense. But when I'm back in Assam and I know that first you'll get a phone call, right? But if I'm not getting the phone call also, then it just feels something is problematic. When I did the film also, I went ahead and I asked so many casting directors that, I've done this film. I don't know when it comes out, but then it's with Manoj Bajpayee. Can you at least audition me? And I think mostly they thought that I was being too pushy. So they said that काम से काम मिलता है. So I hope काम से काम मिल जाए. So I don't know what else to hope for and wait for. But yeah, until now, I think Bombay's been expensive. So I've been in Assam and doing the same things, but just waiting on probably a call. I don't know, an audition for it.
Talk a
How
little
is
about
Delhi
your
for you? How is it very cold?
no, no, not at all. I mean, I think it's going to get cold, but not so much now. But no, I just
Not
wanted to
yet.
ask you about, yeah, not yet. I wanted to ask you, Archita, a little about your mixed heritage. Your mom is from Assam and your
Assamese, yeah.
dad is, yeah. Talk a little about
Yeah.
that because I think it's so reflects in your beauty as well. So talk a little
Oh,
about
it's
that.
so sweet. My mom's Assamese and she's from Assam itself. And so is my dad. My dad's from Assam, but he's Marwari. And like back in Assam, my dad and my mom, the culture-wise, they don't mix well. Assam is very subtle, Assamese is very subtle, and Marwari is a little, more celebrated. They celebrate everything that they see. So I think they ran away and got married, by the way. They went off for like 2 months. And yeah, and then the families had to accept. So yeah, I mean, like I have seen the best of both worlds. At the same time, whenever I go to my mom's side, my mom is my family is like the family is so Assamese. My foot is on both sides. But I don't belong anywhere and I belong both ways. So sometimes it does make you feel like you want to fit in everywhere. That also comes with it, I think. But it's been great to understand both the cultures. I think the Marwari side kind of makes me connect to, like, when I see Gujaratis or Sindhis, I think I have more of a connection and understanding of that culture. The Assamese side, though, wouldn't have been able to because the food changes, the culture changes completely. So yeah,
But you speak Assamese. That's great, right? You speak the language.
I can speak. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's just that I don't know. Sometimes some words are very difficult for me to understand or pronounce because I don't have that. But yeah, 2 years connected back with my culture. I feel like I learned so much more about my culture than I had previously because I was always away. I was in a boarding school. I never really spent time in a sense. Conscious years. So
So great. I really feel that you're going to do extremely well. And the more people see this movie, the more they'll realize that there's so much to you. And I'm glad the focus is on Manoj taking his clothes off. and and not you, because you know how Bollywood is also, na, it tends to
Yeah,
typecast you if
yeah,
you do something
yeah.
really well, and you've done this
I
film
know.
so well, and it must have been, couldn't have been a very easy part to play, it's
For
really
sure, for sure.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so, it you can feel that person, your character's trauma, and
I think it
I
stayed
wonder
with
where.
me.
Yeah, I wonder, is it okay now? Are you have you sort of
Yeah,
recovered?
yeah. Now I'm better. I think I'm finally feeling much better. Yeah. Who knows? That's been in Guwahati last 2 years, huh? Since my shoot
Maybe
got over.
she also went off, and went
Yeah,
off
you never
home like
know.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, very well done. Great. And
Thank you,
thank you
ma'am.
so much
Thank you
for
so
talking
much.
to me. And
Thank you
I'm
so
so
much,
sorry
ma'am.
about the network has been
It's
very
okay.
dodgy, but yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. And I hope to see
Thank
you
you,
soon
ma'am.
at some point.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you so
ma'am.
much. It was so nice talking to you.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
ma'am.
Bye.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Archita.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.